Situated 11 miles east of the Great Salt Lake at the foot of the Wasatch Mountains, Salt Lake City is the capital of Utah and the headquarters of the Mormon Church by whom it was founded. It is the largest city between the Rockies and the coast, and the basic plan of the city was determined by the original survey under the direction of Brigham Young. The Salt Lake Theatre was built in 1862 and at that time was one of the most advanced theatres in design and appointments and had a brilliant history. The first party of Mormons arrived in Salt Lake City on the 22nd of July 1847. The city was named the City of the Great Salt Lake until 1868. It was laid out in 10-acre blocks, which were separated by streets 132 feet in width. It is now a thriving capital with many prominent buildings of fine architecture. In Temple Square stands the Great Mormon Temple, built of grey granite. The temple took 40 years to build and was completed in 1893. The walls are 6 feet thick, and the tallest of the 6 spires rises to 220 feet and is surmounted by a gold leaf-covered copper statue of the angel Moroni, who in 1823 supposedly appeared to Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon religion. As we were given a guided tour around Temple Square, our attention was drawn towards the architectural style and granite stonework of the Mormon Assembly Hall. A monument to early pioneers who trudged from Iowa City pulling handcarts. The tabernacle, seating 8,000 people, has a turtle-shaped roof, unsupported by beams or pillars and covered with aluminium. Recitals are given daily on the 10,000-pipe organ. The Temple Square was originally the centre of the community and includes the tabernacle and other church buildings of the Mormon faith. The Salt Lake Mormon Tabernacle Choir has been widely acclaimed as a leading choral organisation and is said to have a repertoire of about 1,000 pieces. Early in the history of the colony, crops and vegetation were saved from destruction by grasshoppers by the timely arrival of seagulls. Hence this monument was erected to the memory of those gulls. We paid a visit to the Brigham Young Cemetery. Born in 1801, died in 1877, he was not only a great leader, but founded Salt Lake City and began the cultivation of crops and laid down the policies of the settlement. A statue in the garden area of the cemetery depicts a typical Mormon family. The state capitol building, built of Utah granite and marble, was completed in 1916 and is fronted with a garden setting out the dates in flowers. In front of the Capitol stands a memorial to the Ute Indians, the Shoshonean-speaking Indians after whom the state of Utah was named. We then drove to the outskirts of the city to visit Old Deseret, a recreation of some of the pioneer homes and buildings that inhabited the area between 1847 and 1869. 13 authentic pioneer buildings and homes have been reconstructed in this area to represent the many hundreds of Mormon villages that were found all around the state of Deseret, for that was the original name given to Utah. The social hall for music and dancing and some of the middle-class homes of that day stood tall against the backdrop of the distant hills. Soon we left this area and headed to the Great Salt Lake. There is some conjecture as to who was the first white man to discover the lake. In 1776, 2 Spanish missionaries heard of it from local Indians, but never visited it. The lake is said to have a salt content of 27%. We were informed that the island we could see supported a large herd of very valuable buffalo. An abundance of brine shrimp, no bigger than a match head, could be found living in this very salty water. An orb weaver spider hid among the rocks away from the bird life as we headed off to visit the Brigham Canyon copper mine. We were told this mine is the largest man-made open-pit excavation in the world. The rich minerals were discovered in 1863. The pit measures 2.5 miles across and is half a mile deep. At the tourist shop nearby were many artefacts and souvenirs, all constructed of bright sheet copper. The tyres on these mine trucks were around 10 feet in diameter, and at a distance and against the backdrop of this huge mine, it was hard to get a true perception of the size of the trucks themselves. It was now time to leave Salt Lake City and the surrounding area and head south to the next stage of our trip to Bryce Canyon and Zion National Parks.